We are here at the Morningstar Investment Conference, and I'm joined by Xuesong Zhao, the lead portfolio manager at Polar Capital. Thank you very much for being here today. You are talking about AI. Do these stocks have any runway left, do you think?
We think artificial intelligence is the next general purpose technology. As you know, whenever a new technology comes to the market, it follows so-called S-curve. Initially, it's a hype cycle, there's a reset of expectation, and then you see the wider adoption accelerate the adoption curve. So in our humble opinion, we think an AI idea was brought up back in 1950s and last 50 years plus was the recite of the excitement. So we think that ChatGPT actually was an iPhone moment, which introduced the human languages as a user interface, which dramatically lowered the entry barrier. So we think from here, you will see this technology to be adopted more widely, and particularly not just by the enterprise, but more importantly, by the consumer as well. So we think it's a very early stage in terms of penetration. If you look at the hyperscales offering as example, we think at the moment, probably we are 2 or 3% penetrated or even less. So we have no doubt, and the technology will pick up quite quickly from here.
I mean, you mentioned ChatGPT, so let's talk about generative AI. How is that going to, I guess, impact where we're going from here? And how do you look at this as an investment case?
Sure. If we look at the different technologies previously, people talk about machine learning, which is widely considered last generation of the AI technology. For the Gen AI, the important bit is that Gen AI actually is built on the transformer model, which was invented by Google research back in 2017. With billions of the parameters, the model actually can transfer the knowledge learned in one specific area to another one. And that's the reason why suddenly those AI engines become a generic problem-solving engine. And that makes the generative AI more powerful. So we think, yes, generative AI is very powerful, particularly in areas that have a rich sequential data. For example, human languages or computer languages, those areas we are sure that the generative AI will have huge impact. However, near term, Gen AI remains a very expensive technology. Yeah. Just to give you one example, Google CEO, actually his chairman, talked about if Google offer the ChatGPT type of reply versus a normal Google search, it's going to cost them 10 times more. And that tells you there's a cost element to be considered. And that's the reason why in the near term, you see there are some gating factors for more widely adopted. But I'm sure as every technology historically came to the market, the cost will come down, which will drive the broader adoption.
So are you worried about incoming regulation when it comes to generative AI particularly?
Sure. You probably see there's more regulation coming into this way. I will answer your question in 2 ways. The first one is, yes, majority of the regulations so far are mainly focusing on the training, particularly data set, i.e. what kind of data you can use to do the training. And secondly is, are you telling the data owner you are going to use their data to do the AI training? So there's a lot of new regulation come to the market. It's in our opinion that the market going to divide into 2 tiers. I would say the first one is you have to pay for the data and you can train your model with high quality data. The other one probably is more widely used, which is you just use the free data, but unfortunately the quality of the result could be worse than the high quality one. So that's one way to think about it. The second way is when we look at the model itself, at the moment, it is a black box why certain prediction or results were presented by the model itself. So we don't know why. So the industry is trying to work on this problem, i.e. when we see the next generation model, and the model itself will demonstrate the logic behind it, why they make such prediction. At that point, it will be easier for regulator to come in to regulate the final results. So that's how we think about the regulation risks.
So my final question for you today then is, how do you think this is going to develop in the future?
Sure. At the moment, if you look at certain areas, particularly as I mentioned, in the areas with a large sequential data set, the model itself actually already demonstrates superhuman performance. For example, in all the languages related area, we think the next journey or next important point going to be so-called multimodality, i.e. the model actually can process the information, not just only languages, but also visual, i.e. the model can understand what they are seeing, and then they can comprehend, and they actually can output in a different format. So we think the multimodality capability going to be the next important point for the AI development.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time today.
It's my pleasure.